Good evening. We're coming to you with the second part of our coverage. The election results are starting to pour in from New Hampshire's primary election. And so far, it looks like the front runner is Bernie Sanders, with so far 36% of the vote count in. Right now, CNN seems to have the best coverage of the results coming in. And right now, at votes, we have Sanders at 37,000, and he is currently the front runner. Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden will not be getting any delegates tonight. You have to have at least 15% of the total delegate count right now. The Warren campaign is only up to about 9.4%, and Biden is under 9% with 8.6% of the vote count. Right now, there's only about, it looks like 40% of the precincts reporting, and I don't know if all those precincts that are reporting their full count, or if part of their count is still out. Yeah, it looks like all the ones that have reported are reporting their full vote count. So, as it stands right now, Sanders is the front runner. Here is the election coverage from Google, and they are a little bit behind on their reporting. Like I said, right now the most current and up-to-date and accurate reporting seems to be on CNN.com. If you go to CNN, you can look at these numbers for yourself. But right now, Sanders has a clear lead on everybody, as you can see. So it's looking like, unless something drastic happens, that Sanders is going to be tonight's leader. But as you can see, there's still a lot of precincts that haven't reported anything. So we are waiting for the final numbers to come in. Hopefully, within the next hour or so, we'll have a final vote count and we'll know who the actual winner is. Now, I'm not sure how the delegates are going to be split between the front runners, because as you can see, we've got three that have over 15%. So the top three here will be getting some delegates, with, of course, Sanders at this point having the most delegates from the New Hampshire primaries. But, as I said, there's a lot of reporting that still needs to happen. %46 in currently. So we're almost at half the vote count. But right now, this could go any direction between the two front runners. But I don't see Elizabeth Warren being able to gain any traction right now. Even when CNN did their polling earlier, things weren't looking promising. Now, that was only from about 100 people, and what can you really gather from polling 100 people? Not a heck of a lot, but it's definitely not looking good for the Warren campaign or Biden campaign tonight. I'm not noticing any different numbers other than what CNN has posted on any social media. Looking at Twitter really quick. MSNBC. And Biden has also counseled his presidents at their banquet party that they were supposed to have tonight after the elections, which means he's not very hopeful and placing very high in tonight's primaries. So here we go. We're going to keep an eye on the CNN because they seem to be, like I said, the most current and up to date as far as their vote count. But see, as we can see, all these precincts right here are at 100% that have got a count in. So what they appear to be doing is counting all of their votes before they report. They're not reporting what they've counted, or they're not reporting as they count, as a lot of other states do, which is kind of nice. And again, only at 46% right now. Trying to see if anybody else has any other numbers other than CNN. People in the media are going on what a disappointing night this is for the Biden campaign. And again, the Biden and Elizabeth Warren campaigns will not be getting any delegates tonight, which is kind of surprising considering everybody thought that they were the main contenders when this election first started. But I think this is going to be the year of Sanders. This is definitely the best he's done in a long time, and I think this is going to be the year of Sanders. So we're waiting for the next update, which is supposed to happen here in a second. Let's see if anybody else is reporting in. No, nobody. No new precincts are reporting in. Right now, I'm still seeing 0 delegates pledged to any of the candidates, which is kind of different. Now we do have actually 1%, about 1% going to write-ins, which means there are some people that literally just wanted to write in a candidate rather than voting for anybody that's on the ballot. So that should say something. 1% is actually a pretty high number for write-ins. And again, we're just waiting for another new update from CNN.com on their polling map. Let's see how it stacks up against the exit polls. Yeah, see, so in the exit polls, Sanders was definitely in the lead with everybody else. So they're turning out to be pretty accurate tonight with the way the vote count is turning out. Again, the votes are being very slow to come in tonight. We've noticed this pretty much in every state that's been polled so far, wanting to make sure they get the numbers very accurate before they release them, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But hopefully we get a definitive answer as to who the actual winner of tonight's primaries are. So it looks like Biden has already started campaigning in South Carolina, which is going to be the next primary election. So he's already considering this a wash, and he's already trying to ramp up his campaign efforts into South Carolina. When are the South Carolina primaries? February 29th. So we haven't got that long till the primaries in South Carolina. And of course, we will be live covering the primary elections for South Carolina. I wonder if there's any exit polls out for South Carolina yet. Excuse me, folks. I had some shrimp tonight. It is not sitting well with me. Yeah, I'm not finding any exit polls in South Carolina yet that are very accurate, anyways. Oh, here we go. Project 538. Project 538 has an exit poll, and it's showing Biden with a vote count of 28% and Sanders in second with 17%. So right as it stands right now, Biden does have a sizable lead in South Carolina. But it is dropping at a pretty good rate, so with his failure to pick up any delegates tonight, that might kind of sink his campaign for South Carolina. And Sanders may become the front runner there. That's going to be my predictions. I definitely think Sanders has got a really good chance for South Carolina. Oh, it went up by 1%. We're now at 47% in on the poll counts. And right now we are still showing Sanders with a sizable lead over the other front runners. Sanders is still in the lead. At 27%. And again, it looks like most of the bigger districts have already reported, but there are so many of the smaller districts that still haven't reported. Enough of those going one way or the other way could definitely throw this in pretty much any direction right now. But I'm definitely going to say Biden and Warren are out of it. I don't see any one of them getting the presidential nominee this year. Which is kind of strange that Biden's even running this year. You'd think he would have ran for office the year that Obama left office. That's primarily what a vice president does when they want to be president. Is when the president leaves office, you run for president following his term. And Biden not doing that, I'm thinking is probably going to cost him this election. If he would have done that last election, I think he probably would have won. And that's just my own little analysis of the whole Biden thing. So again, the polls are being very slow on reporting. CNN is updating about every, let's see, every 10 to 15 seconds. CNN is updating. And again, let's try to see if there's anything from any other media outlets right now. So, it looks like MSNBC so far is reporting Sanders in second place. So that's interesting. That's a pretty stark difference between MSNBC and CNN. They're putting Sanders at 19% of the total votes. I don't know. I think I'm going to rely more on CNN's numbers right now. Just because so far they seem to be the most accurate this year. So I'm going to be going by CNN for this broadcast. But every once in a while we will check back on the others like MSNBC. And let's see what Fox News is reporting. Yeah, Fox News has also got Bernie in the lead. So MSNBC is definitely either behind in their reporting or they're getting their numbers from a very unreliable source. Because right now both Fox News and CNN are reporting Sanders in the lead. But MSNBC is, they're known for being pretty biased to their own agendas. And Fox News has actually got a pretty good candidate tracker right now. Alright, we got some more vote count in on CNN. So the vote count is now up to 49%, with Biden still at a sizable lead, or Sanders still at a sizable lead over the other runners. So that's interesting. Sanders is continuing to keep his lead. See, it's updating every 10 seconds. We can see 49% of all precincts reporting. But we still got areas in here that haven't reported any vote counts yet. And all of these are going to add up one way or the other. Let's see. Oh, we're at 50% now. 50%. with Sanders still in the lead. Sanders is still in the lead. 50% of the vote count is now in. 50%. 50% of all precincts now reporting. Now, this is only a small margin of what they expected the vote count to be. They were expecting 420,000 voters to vote today, and this is substantially less than that. So, I'm thinking there's still a lot of votes that haven't been counted. Again, I don't know New Hampshire very well, so I don't know what the population of the precincts are that haven't reported yet. So it could be that the majority of the votes are actually still out. Oh no, now it dropped back down to, okay, now it's back up to 50%. Interesting. CNN's total number is fluctuating up and down by like 1 or 2%. And you have to remember, this is all open to like a 3 to a 5% margin of error, I believe. Now, I don't know if they can do a recount on a primary election if somebody wants to contest, because I could definitely see that happening in New Hampshire. And again, we're still only at 50% vote count in right now, according to CNN. And Fox News is reporting only 43% of the vote count is in. 43%. And on Google, they are reporting 43% of the vote count in as well. So CNN seems to have the latest numbers a lot quicker than any of the other media outlets right now. So I'm kind of going by their tracker at the moment. And we're up to 51%. And the vote count basically percentage being the same. It's not really changing one way or another. But right now the Biden campaign is barely making it into the top 5. I mean, he's barely in there. And when the rest of the vote count is counted, he could drop out of the top 5, which would be a huge blow to his campaign. But we are still waiting. Still waiting. And once we get to about, unless there's like a drastic catch up by any of these candidates, once we get to about 78%, I'd say we can pretty much call it. But again, we are not there yet, and we may have a long night ahead of us. Now, I'm not sure if the vote counter updates down here once it updates up here. I would think so, but I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. But here's the numbers by Fox News. Fox News only reporting 44% of the total vote count in. And if we go to Google, 44% as well. So I'm assuming Google is updating its voter count from this here on Fox News. But as we can see, CNN, their numbers are at 51%, which is a huge difference. And again, let's see. MSNBC is their layout on their site is not very informative at all. And they're not even saying what their total vote count is on their main page. You gotta go in deeper. So let's try to see if we can find their total vote counter. Yeah, MSNBC isn't even giving a percentage, and it doesn't look like they're really updating at all. So definitely do not rely on MSNBC tonight. Still at 51% on CNN. And still 44% on Fox News. Oh, 46%. They just updated on Fox News. %52 on CNN. And the numbers percentages aren't really changing anything substantial on any of the candidates. And again, we can look at the different jurisdictions and the number of the votes that are in. Everybody that's reporting any numbers are reporting 100%, so they're waiting till they count all votes before they report anything, which is why it's taking so long to get any updated numbers. See, 52%. Fox News doesn't seem to be updating automatically, so I have to refresh it every once in a while. And it's still only at 46%. Now let's see if that... Google's reporting 47%, so I don't know where they are getting their numbers from. Now they're saying 44, 46. See, it's fluctuating up and down. Still only 52% reporting. Sanders is the front runner. Oh, we just had an update. We are at 52% updated. I've seen the numbers change a little bit. So somebody reported in. See, as we can see, there's some of the bigger precincts over here that still have yet to report. So those are going to be, see, those are really going to sway the vote one way or the other, I think. still only at 47% on Fox News. 47% on Google. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not noticing any substantial updates yet. Still just kind of waiting for the next update right here. But I'm thinking it's going to happen pretty soon. And MSNBC's numbers are still way, way behind. So they don't appear to be updating at all. Still 52% CNN. Here in a little bit, there's going to be a big update. A lot of these precincts are going to start reporting in pretty much all at once. All right, 53% reported at CNN.com. Now 52%. See, it keeps going up and down. Some precincts, it's like they're... In some of these, it says there's no data for a particular town, which is kind of strange. It's like, are there no registered voters in those small towns? Maybe they're just too small to have any polling places, so they go to another county. That could be. I could imagine that in some of the smaller communities. And what percentage is NPR reporting? NPR is reporting 48% of the precincts have reported in from NPR. still 47% at Fox News. They're being very slow in reporting. Oh, now they're up to 48%. So they're on par with what NPR is reporting. 54% of the precincts reported in, according to CNN. And again, MSNBC is still lagging behind everybody. No new reports. Still the same numbers. I'm going to be seeing if C-SPAN has any coverage going on right now, because I can rebroadcast the C-SPAN feed. Of election results. And it looks like C-SPAN does have some coverage going on as of right now. Let me mute that, because I am not going to be rebroadcasting the audio. But C-SPAN is having some coverage, but it doesn't look like they're showing any of the numbers. They're just showing some speeches from the candidates. Okay, CNN is reporting in at 58%. So almost 60% of the vote count is in. And it looks like NPR is only reporting 60 or 52%. So again, CNN seems to be in the lead as far as reporting. With now 59% of all precincts reporting. And if we look at how the exit polls are comparing to the actual elections tonight, they're not that far off. Biden with 8%, Warren with 8%. But Sanders isn't doing as good as the exit polls predicted he would. So that's interesting. And again, here is what NPR is reporting. Here is what Fox News is reporting. And here is what CNN is reporting. Now, at any time, the percentage of these numbers could jump big time. That could happen at any point right now. Because normally it doesn't take them a long time to report the polls. And of course, if we go over to the Republicans, Donald Trump won. He wasn't really contested. None of this really counts. We all knew the delegates were going to go to Donald Trump. We knew how the Republican voting was going to turn out, and we know how that's going to turn out pretty much in every state. Alright, 60% reporting now. 60% reporting. Still not much of a change in the numbers. And again, if if Sanders does win tonight, this is going to be like a huge blast of momentum to his campaign. If he wins tonight, I basically see him just steamrolling in his campaign, just running with it and going. This could be what makes Sanders the presidential nominee. Yeah. Fox News reporting 55%. MSNBC still doing absolutely horrible. And they are just not updating at all. Well, there we go. MSNBC finally updated. What percentage are they showing? They are not showing a percentage of the vote count as of right now that I can see. But as it stands right now, Sanders has 7 delegates. $47,900. 62% CNN reporting. So basically, whoever wins tonight in that election is definitely not going to be by a landslide, that's for sure. See, and Google's like way behind on their reporting. NPR. Well, NPR is catching up a little bit. Then, of course, we have CNN. With roughly 62% of the vote count in. And then MSNBC is right here behind CNN. I mean, they're pretty good now. And of course, Fox News is still, let's refresh. Fox News is still also lagging way behind. So if we go here, this is a little bit better on MSNBC. We can actually go through the map and see the different numbers from the precincts that are still open or not counted fully. See? And it says the number of votes that have been counted for each candidate in some of those jurisdictions. That's interesting. Concord went for Sanders. So it's like all the main places went for Sanders. And they are 100% in on their vote count. So there we have it. Sanders is pretty much the front runner right now. I'm going to call this stream good, and I will be posting the winner of the primaries in New Hampshire to my Twitter account. So follow me at ICOM Tech Tips or ICOM Tips, and thank you for watching. Good night.